Hey, it's Soleil, and this is episode 321 of the Orange Pill Investor. You think I forgot, but I did not. I have been shoveling snow. How come I can't share my mother frickin' screen? There we go. I love looking at the year to date, and it's just like 5 days, but it's up 20%. Um, Jeff, what's up, brother? You must be playing hooky, or you're not snowed in. So again, I sacrificed myself to the market gods and added some covered calls last week. I've got three 325s. What's up, Junk Rat? So those are upside down as fuck. So probably looks like if I have to roll at these prices on Friday, that's going to cost me 4 grand a pop. What are the other ones I added? I've got the 470, so these are fine. I have nothing to do really but just sit on my hands and watch. And maybe it's a good time to talk about these. According to Tasty Trades research, when you have spreads, like let's say you had a cash secured put and a covered call on, or in either case singly, doesn't really matter. But if the price goes up or down, which side do you roll? And according to their research, you generally roll the untested side. So 325 is definitely tested. It's been breached. The 470s are upside down as well. I got paid 1400 for each of 5 of these. They're worth 2400, so if I want to buy to close, I'm gonna have to come out of pocket another grand or a pop here. Same thing here. I got paid 1200 on the 470s out to February, and a lot of people panic. The first time they start selling covered calls, as soon as the stock starts moving towards their strikes, they freak out. And this is just all part of how this works. If you're worried about your shares getting called away and you're gonna panic the first time your strikes get threatened, then maybe figure out another strategy. A lot of times people are like, "Oh, now that it's I got to roll these 325s up to 375 now." Uh, that's probably a recipe for disaster because the price could be 325 tomorrow. You paid to roll up for nothing, and that's called getting whipsawed. And so you definitely don't want to do that. However, let me just take a look at the 5K account real quick. When I talk about rolling the untested side, these CLSK puts I had at the 9.5 strike back when the price was probably between 950 and 10, and now the price is 1126. So this, if the price was going down, then this 9.5 put would have been tested. But this is the untested side, meaning the price has been going up. So statistically, do I want to hold on to this for 4 more days to collect $4? No, I fucking don't, because I'm Robinhood's holding $950 of my collateral to make $4 in 4 days is pretty sad, since I probably sold this for 20 and I can collect 75% or more of it in one trading day. That's the move. So I either close this and keep the profits, or I roll the strike up and collect additional premium. So the move is not to panic because I have these. Like, the price could be 320 on Friday. And if it's not, then I'll just pay then. And even if the price is 400 a share, it's fine. I'll pay whatever it is on expiration day. But right now, if I check and see how much extrinsic value is left in these and see if this is even worth holding on to, since these are in the money now, I can calculate the intrinsic value by subtracting the strike from the cost of the shares. So let's just say we're at 375 because that's easier math. That's 50 plus another $2, so $52 worth of intrinsic value. That means the remaining value, the other $2.50, maybe 2 bucks, is extrinsic. So I can hold on to this to Friday, no matter what the price does, goes up or down. I can still collect another 200 bucks on this option that may not, collecting 200 bucks over the next 4 days compared to collecting 1,100 over a week is actually not that much. Um, but at least there's 200 bucks of extrinsic value that I can collect between now and Friday, as opposed to this put that has 4 bucks in it. So there's a big difference there. In any case, the whole point was for me to jump in here and sell some covered calls. I meant to get on here earlier, but I'm glad I didn't because the price has just been running up. So before the price decides that it wants to presto changeo on me, I'm just going to add some more covered calls. And I've got about 4,000 delta almost left. So do I want to add 5 or 10? Let's just see what I can get. I'm going to do some more at the money weeklies. I can get 1,500 bucks a pop on these. And it's probably about time to pay bills again. So I was going to need to do this anyway. So this is kind of perfect timing. Um, I made some purchases over the last couple of weeks. So unfortunately, I had to sell some of these covered calls when MicroStrategy was down. That was poor timing, but what are you going to do? I had to buy some stuff, had to make a down payment on a vehicle. So definitely got some use uh, out of the money. All right, so I'm definitely going to sell. Let's just do like one strike above at the money. I'm going to sell the 380s. Do I want to sell 5 or 10? With 4,000 delta, I could sell 40 covered calls, and I have on 5, 10, 20. These are not covered calls. This is part of a spread. So I have on about half of the positions that I could have on. So I could sell another 20 potentially. So for right now, let's add 5 more. Not 15. All right, that's gonna give me 6,900 bucks. And usually that cash I like to put right back into shares. Why do I have 13,000 in cash? Did I take some profits on Friday? Anyway, that might actually help me roll these, because to roll these at 5 grand a pop, it's going to cost me 25 grand. So maybe I'll just keep this in cash until Friday and see what it's going to cost me. Um, that's the main thing that I wanted to do today. So let me just check the chats here. Just says we on. Yes, we are. Um, Patrick says, "Wow, Soleil and Jeff, thank you both for your work." Holy shit, Ben's here. This is. Am I early for the call? Maybe we could just have it now. Uh, MS says hi. What's up, Russ? Junkrat says True North polar bear sightings. That's awesome. MSTR Owl says, "Would you sell for January 17th?" So I'm intentionally doing these weeklies because, and this is completely superstitious, I have no idea what's going to happen, and I generally don't make short-term predictions. So I'm guessing that 2 weeks before January 17th, they're gonna have to stop selling at the money, and maybe the price will go up. So this one's gonna expire on the 10th, and I may play a little bit of a wait and see game this Friday. Um, and if we get another big green day in between the 10th and the 17th, maybe I'll add some more on or kind of leg into them. Um, we'll see. Kanal says, Nithu hope that the no fiat job life is going well. It absolutely is. Um, before this pump, it was a little bit kind of annoying because I was like, all right, I basically doubled my target for when I wanted to quit. And briefly last week, I had actually fallen below the target. I think from all-time highs, I think my account, well, when we had all-time highs, my account was up like 9x, and I finished out the year up 4x. And so I think I was down 60% off all-time highs. And, that's a little bit hard to stomach sometimes, but my thesis on the stock hasn't changed, so still bullish. Muslim Bitcoiner says the FASB earnings on February 7th, something to consider as we sell covered calls, or is it priced in? So those are all catalysts, but I think we might overestimate the timing of when these things will actually materialize in price run ups. Like, I had my fingers crossed something was going to happen over Thanksgiving. QQQ inclusion, none of that really happened other than, sometimes people front run inclusion, so then you get a sell off after. So it's not like, oh, okay, we have this catalyst and things should happen on a certain date. So then I structure my my hopes and dreams on reaching a certain strike in a certain time period. Um, so is FASB earnings on February 7th something to consider? Actually, are you sure about that? Because I don't think FASB is going to be reported until February, March, April, May. Because this should be Q4 and it should still be old. What's it called when you have the mark when you can only take the losses. You can't actually mark up the profits. So I don't think we're getting FASB. They'd have to go back and redo the earnings for the whole year if we get FASB in Q4. So I don't think so, Muslim. Grit says, Happy New Year. Looks like the ATM is on hold. Currently, of course, no clue. But actually, if people need to cover, it makes sense to put it on hold. Yeah, I don't think he's not at the ATM. I think he's at the ATM every fucking day he's allowed to be out there. That's completely unscientific opinion, but I can't imagine a day goes by that he can't be out there doing his thing and he's not doing it. Like, um, they're selling ATM and the price can go up or down. I don't think, yeah, I don't think that the price going up is you can just read the tea leaves and say, oh, he must be not hitting the ATM. So, ATM is kind of just a scapegoat, right? Um, yeah, that I don't think the ATM has been turned off, and that's why we're seeing a pump. Thank you, Kobe. Indefinite intangible asset accounting. Yeah, we're gonna see that in Q4 again, and we shouldn't see the new FASB rules until Q1 in May, like Kobe said. Junkrat says, any podcasts planned, Nithu, as a guest or host? You'd be great host too, dude. Yeah, I did my solo thing basically for all of 2024. I will I will absolutely look to have some people on. I'm getting a little boring, I guess. Got to spice it up. All right, let me take a look at the IRA. I've got about 680 delta here left over. I've got to 4 covered calls. I've got the 2 in the money leaps and the 300 shares, so I can easily set up 5 covered calls, no problem. I've also got enough long leaps exposure that I could probably set up a few more. So I'm gonna add 2 more covered calls here as well. Same deal. I'm just gonna go to this Friday, sell out the money. 2 has the price okay. For some reason, I thought I was getting paid less than I was 5 minutes ago. Now in the IRA, I hate cash. I absolutely hate cash. So I'm gonna use this 3 grand to do something. I will either dollar cost average into some of my long calls that have been getting shit on, or I will just add shares. And it doesn't look like there's anything I need to really dollar cost average into. I could do the 550. That's dumb. Um, the Junes. That's perfect. I can get 1 June. Well, the price is actually up right now. Maybe I'll just add some shares. How many shares can I get? 10 would get me 3,700. So maybe 8 shares. Okay, that works. I like to sell calls on up days, and that can either be to sell to open covered calls or to sell to close long calls. But there's nothing I really want to close out for now. So the price is up and I've got cash. I usually just buy shares. All right, the joint account. I've only got 5 delta here because my 300 delta is basically all covered, it looks like. Yeah, my 330s are getting wrecked. So I will wait until Friday to do damage control on this. We'll see what it's going to cost me to roll. And my allowance. Any cash in here? No, 70 bucks. All right, my 470s are fine. They're a little bit upside down, but there's 30 days left. Nothing really to do there. I've got 132 delta. Potentially, I could add another covered call here. Let's, yeah, I'll add one. Why not? Again, I'll do the 380 strike. See, for some reason, it's trying to, it added 100 shares to this trade. I don't know why the hell that happened. All right. Okay. It, yeah, it doesn't like that. It does not like that. Okay, so this is not, I don't think this is a margin account, but for some reason it's not giving me credit for these. Yeah, I thought it was going to let me set up a ratio spread against these 4 long calls, but yeah, okay, so I'm standing pat here, and let's just take a quick check on the 5K account. I mentioned this CLSK put here, so I need to close this. There's no reason to hold on to this. I sold it for 32. I can buy it back for 4. And since I'm still as bullish as ever, I'm just going to roll up the strike to the 11 and collect another 28 bucks, 29 maybe. See if I can get this to fill. I'm just gonna hit the bid so I can get a fill here. There we go. Got shit to do. Let's see. I could do the same thing on these Wolf puts. I sold them for 20. I can buy them back for 3 or 4 maybe. See if I can get a fill at 3. Of course not. Oh, now I can. All right. Let me just refresh and see. I'm tempted to actually just turn margin off on this account because I hate the way that it displays my. Okay, so it's saying that I have 1,400 in cash to use. So I will sell. Okay, I just sold a put in CLSK, so let's sell one in Riot. I should check Hut's price. Yeah, let's do that. I think Hut ended up surging ahead of everybody else. Yeah, I can't afford Hut right now. All right, so with Hut, I'm gonna put up 1,250 of collateral. I'm gonna collect 33 bucks of premium. Let's see, if I was collecting 1%, that would be 1,250. So this is between 2 and 3% return on capital for a week. So not bad. That should put me much closer to using margin. Okay, so I am using some margin now. All right, I think that's all the trades I got. Let me just check chat and we will call it an awesome, awesome, happy, green, snowy day. We got about 8 inches of snow today, and it's one of those days where it's coming down the whole time you're shoveling. So by the time you get done shoveling the driveway, everything you shoveled is already covered in snow again. So, yep, Canal says host a space where we can talk about your carnivore diet. Uh, yeah, we absolutely need to do that. Russ says next Monday sailor. We we have exhausted our ATM going into January 17. I think he's still got a couple of billion to spend. I don't remember what the numbers look like exactly. Kobe says somebody said 100 million ATM a week is 5 billion a year, and I never really thought of it like that. Seems tiny compared to other weeks, like the market doesn't even notice it, but 5 billion a year is huge. Yeah, the numbers are staggering. And what was it? How many billions of shares did they ask for at the emergency meeting? I mean, it's like trillions of dollars of ATM they could potentially tap into over, probably be decades, but it's kind of insane to think about. Teetering Crypto says, "Hey Nithu, is there a general guideline as to when a covered call might get too expensive to roll if you think the underlying stock price will continue to move well beyond your strike?" When a covered call might get too expensive. Um, Maybe even just once. Like, you should be prepared to sell those shares if you have to when you open that contract. Um, I will definitely try to roll these, or at least some portion of them next week, depending on how much it costs me. Um, yeah, my 380s are already in the money. That's funny. Um, yeah, I will have to clear the way for these. So if I can't roll these for a credit next week, I will consider letting something get called away. Not necessarily 100 shares, but you know, these long calls are break even. I could sell those. My leaps in December are in profit. I could sell those. If I want to take some capital gain, capital losses, I could sell my January 2026s. Those have gotten a dump taken all over them. Those are down like over 50%, but they're up compared to what they were last week. So in general, when the stock price is up, I'm gonna sell calls to pay for it. It's either gonna be a covered call to pay for it, or I will peel off some leverage to pay for it. Like, I hope we see 500 and 750, and if I sell covered calls and we do see 750, if that's the kick in the ass that I need to force me to close some of these long call positions and reduce my leverage, then I kind of almost use that as an excuse to force me to sell high. Because when it goes to 750 a share, sometimes it's too scary to take profits because you think it's going to 1,000. But if I've got covered calls that I have to pay for, it makes it a little bit easier to kind of do the right thing. But as an option seller, doing the right thing can be a little bit different than a buy and hold person. Um, Scott says hello, hello back. Oh, he says you need to reload. Yeah, yeah, it's no big deal. Trevor says 6.77 billion left on the ATM. Yeah, so there's plenty of ATM. If he's got money to spend, he might like take the foot off the gas, I suppose. But I can't imagine he's not out there doing it just all the time. All right, we're caught up on the chat, and that was everything that I wanted to get done today. Roll the untested side. That's part of Tasty Trades research as an option seller, and you can see that IV rank climbed up from like 25 to 40. So definitely more advantageous to sell them today as opposed to just last Thursday. But yeah, I hope that every single one of these strikes gets completely wrecked because that means all of my uncovered delta goes to the moon. So I do not ever root for the stock to stay under my strikes. I know some people do that because they don't want shares to get called away, but that's it's not how I roll. All right, be good, y'all.